Okay, good afternoon. After reviewing the film from the UT Chattanooga game, pretty much the same thoughts I had at the conclusion of the game. I liked our business-like approach. I thought we needed to do what we needed to do to win the football game. We always talk to our players in terms of when you're on the football field, how do you impact the game in making impactful plays and being a difference. And when you look at Aaron Medley, first touchback of the year, but not one but 7 of them. And everything is about field position. We created a long field, which is the kickoff is the first play of defense, the way we talk about it. So again, the 7 touchbacks really provided a spark for us. Jalen Reeves-Maben continues to progress, and what I feel one of the best linebackers in the SEC. I think him and AJ are really feeding off of each other, playing very well as a tandem together. Justin Worley accounted for 5 touchdowns. I thought he attacked things. I thought he was poised, and that was great to see. Also some live snap opportunities. We spoke about that after the game as well, but live snap opportunities for a lot of individuals, and that can't be replicated. So that was critical for us. You know, in practice, you try to put yourself into hypothetical situations, but nothing really simulates live opportunities and live actions. And so we were able to go back on Sunday and see which players are close to getting more on the field in terms of repetitions and providing depth and stability to our program, and which players need to continue to progress and get better and better and better. And, you know, some individuals, I see the talent. It's just, again, it's the live opportunities. It's playing very, very fast. Did not like the negative yardage plays. That's something, again, of controlling the controllables, and we have a goal of 0 negative yardage plays, and that includes penalties. We got back to our disciplined ways with only 1 penalty, but again, that penalty was an illegal procedure penalty that occurred on 3rd down. And again, you can't put yourself in a 3rd and long situations. 3rd down, situational football is a completely different style of play, different mentality by a defense. So again, being in those manageable situations for us to move forward are critical. I think everyone obviously knows the great challenge that lies ahead of us, but also the great opportunity playing the number 3 ranked team in the country. When you look at them, very, very complete football team, number 2 in the country in defense and scoring. They've only given up 6 offensive touchdowns all year, and a number of those have come at the end of the game situations. 32% on 3rd down efficiency, very explosive. Again, I think it's a byproduct of depth, and it's a byproduct of experience. They returned 9 out of 11 starters from last year, and many key backups were also starters last year that have started many games for them. So they're playing with a lot of confidence. They have 12 interceptions, so they take the ball away. They run exceptionally well to the football. Offensively, it all starts with Bo Wallace. Gritty player. He reminds me of the quarterback we had at Cincinnati named Zach Collaros. Just a great competitor. Wants the ball in his hands at the end of the game and wants to make all the plays. Very, very imposing and talented offensive line in great skill positions. Players with extending the tight end, flexing him. Very good receiving core in a very, very explosive running back tandem. We know Jalen Walton very well as we were in the recruiting process with him when we were at Cincinnati. And so, again, a good football team playing in a great environment Saturday night. So a great challenge, but I'll answer any questions you may have.
Butch, you mentioned AJ and Jalen on defense. Anybody stick out to you on defense? Anybody else after reviewing the film?
Yeah, Derek Barnett continues to be a presence on the perimeter, and I've said it, and I'll continue to say it. He's mature beyond his years, very, very competitive, bringing stability to the defensive front. Tavares Salisbury, again, gained some valuable repetitions, some live game opportunities, again, which is very important to him, getting him on the field. Cam Sutton, again, is just stability. Just consistency and performance week in and week out. We thought Justin Coleman played one of the best games he's played since we've been here. Been very, very reliable, great great effort. I think our entire defense is playing as one unit. They have great confidence right now, but we all know that they will be exceptionally challenged Saturday evening.
What you mentioned, Reese, maybe, did you guys expect as a staff for him to come in and have the impact he's had in just 6 games?
I think he's benefited from the repetitions of special teams, but he only played, I believe, 2 or 3 snaps all year at linebacker. But it's a tribute to his instincts. He plays instinctful. He prepares himself. He's taken much greater care of his body. He understands rest. He understands recovery. He understands nutrition. You know, he's doing the great things that players need to do to perform at a high level week in and week out. So we've been really, really pleased with him. He's been very productive. He's been very active, and he's played downhill, which has been needed in our defense.
Who are some of the other young guys that you feel like earned some more reps based on the way they performed Saturday?
Well, Dwayne Hendricks is an individual that has all the skill set, possesses all the skills. It's just playing faster. And you get that with opportunities and situations. So his play will continue to increase in the defensive front. It all starts with him. Jakob Johnson, again, any live opportunity he gets is going to be beneficial for him. So again, some good, some bad with him, with some line calls, playing instinctively. So again, getting him in there. Emmanuel Mosley's another young man, again, who started. So those live opportunities, and he didn't have very many, and all of a sudden we talked about it Saturday night after the game as he's forced into the Florida game, had a great week of preparation, and he played that way again. So those are some individuals. And again, other individuals, they need to understand there can be no drop-off from our first team to our second team to our third team. That's the standard. That's the expectation. Obviously, their reps are minimal. So you need to make sure you understand what a quality mental rep is and being focused in at practice, and that'll be the topic of conversation in our team meeting today.
Coach, after getting a look at Evan Berry with the ball in his hand, is there any thought of that he expanded that look at running back, or is that still just something you do for depth purposes?
We'll continue to look at him at running back. Again, it's trying to find a home for him. He does have some unique skills to him, but it's really trying to put him in a position where he can work off those skills and continue to get better. So he'll split time in practice of playing safety and running back.
Darrell bumped up the depth chart. Is that a reflection of his play or Marlon's pace?
Combination of both, but it's a reflection of his play. But we need to get Marlon Lane back healthy, and we fully anticipate him being available for the Ole Miss game. But I think it's a byproduct of his productivity in practice and also his productivity during the game as well.
What did you think of Darrell from what you saw on film with him, and also Jalen full go?
Yep. Jalen will be full go, and he'll be at practice today. He'll participate. In terms of Darrell, very, very quick. Downhill runner, north and south, has the ability to make you miss, but good burst and acceleration, and thought he did some great things for really handling his first live game opportunities. But again, his pass protection, the knowledge of the pass protection schemes, just the overall knowledge and volume of the offense is one of the things he needs to continue to improve on. And just, the repetitions, lowering the pad level, when you come into the contact phase of the run, little nuances that go in that you get through repetitions.
Timetable on
Devin Young, right now, don't really have a true timetable. It'll probably be a couple weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, and we'll see how his body heals and progresses. Everyone else will be available to practice. Josh Smith will still not practice today, but everyone else we spoke about will practice today.
Just the test you're going to be facing, talk about running back rotation, just how much of the test is going to be against Ole Miss defense, trying to establish a rushing attack?
Great test. Great physical football team. And again, they're going to challenge our resiliency, our mental conditioning, our toughness, the ability to get yards after contact, all those things that go into being able to run the ball effectively, maintaining blocks, being able to block on the second level, all that goes into being a good running football team we have to come with on Saturday.
Which people always say in the SEC, you need 3 running backs. You look at what's going on with Tennessee, you look what's happened with Georgia, you think that might be an underestimate, and maybe you need 5?
You're exactly right. Everyone points towards, 2 or 3, but we had that conversation. That was the topic in our staff meeting this morning is, you can never have enough running backs. I used to coach running backs back in the day, and that's a position of durability. It's a position of physicality. And you look at on every single play, they're either hitting or being hit. And so, you have to have depth at that position, and that was never more evident for us than Saturday night where we're playing a walk-on and a true freshman in his live game opportunity or situation. So again, we need to continue to recruit. That's a point of emphasis in our recruitment this year, and it'll always be.
Do you think Jacob Gillen will play the rest of this year?
I believe at some point Jacob Gilliam will have an opportunity to impact the game. I do. I don't know when that opportunity will present itself, but I do believe that he will play again at the University of Tennessee. I do believe that.
What's he able to do right now in practice?
Everything. So it's just getting his body in shape, getting his fundamentals back, his technique back, but he's full go in practice. He's in every single period.
Which do you, as coaches, when you guys meet or you talk to administrators or SEC meetings, do you ever talk about increasing scholarships, or is that just considered an absurdity, something that you could never sell?
We don't ever talk about increasing scholarships from the 85. What we have great dialogue and constant discussions are regarding the eligibility. Blanket 5 years of eligibility, and I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that happen, instead of 4 years and then, redshirt. I just think where we're at in terms of growth and development, and it's all about a prospective student athlete being able to reach his fullest potential. That's our job as coaches, is the mentor and the guide and the develop. So I would like to see 5 years of a blanket eligibility.
There was a lot of talk about that a couple of years ago. I remember it came up at the SEC meetings. Is that, what's happened with that? Is it stalled? Is there any?
I think it's stalled a little bit. I think it's kind of going on the back burner, so to speak. But when you look at it, there's usually a process, a development process of a young individual. And hypothetically, you'd like for it to start on special teams, just like follow the role of Jalen Reeves-Maben. And so, you kind of ease their way into live games, speed, reps, and getting that valuable game experience. And maybe it's on just 1 or 2 special teams. And then you look at the depth issues when you only have 85 individuals on scholarship. That's a challenge in and of itself, especially when you play in this conference with the grind, with the physicality week in and week out. But you're also able to give limited roles to true freshmen where you don't overwhelm them, but you get them that valuable experience that is needed in moving forward.
This is a team that had a really good recruiting class after his first full year. You played a lot of freshmen last year. Do you see similarities in kind of where you are, where they were last year, or is it 2 separate circumstances?
Well, I think every situation you inherit is different in and of itself. What was the existing talent pool like? What was there in the program? And there's reasons for everything. And so I think there may be some similarities, but I think there's a lot of distinct differences as well. And a lot of it is, where was the program when you took over? What was, there? And, right, wrong, or indifferent, I'm not saying bad, good, or indifferent. I'm just saying each program you take over, and this is our 3rd time of taking over a program, and each one is different. Each program you take over throughout the course of the country has differences, and a lot of time is what's there, and then what's also there in terms of a culture, a mindset, a work capacity, just an overall thought process. So there's a lot that goes into it that a lot of people don't realize. I always ask myself, when I go home every night, are we a better football team and a better football program day in and day out? Are we a better football program now than when we were a year ago? And yes, we are. We still have, as we all know, monumental strides in moving forward, but we're better right now than we were a year ago. Now, we need to continue to accelerate that, expedite that, however you want to phrase it. But I do see progress. But again, it's acquisition of talent and development. developing the mind, the mindset, the culture, physical development, mental stamina, all that goes into developing 17 to 22-year-old young adults. And that's why you coach college football, because we enjoy that part of it. We want to be a part of that process.
Coach, did anything about what was here or the culture you inherited surprise you after you got settled in?
You know, I don't really want to talk about the past. All I can talk about is the present and the future of where we're going. And I'm excited of where we're going. And, coaches in the past have worked exceptionally hard here. And I respect them. And that's always been my philosophy. But we can only control what we can control, and that's winning the moment and the future direction of this program. And that's why I always all eyes forward and moving forward.
What things happened in the game at Georgia that might help in this road game at Ole Miss?
Playing in a hostile environment, understanding the ebbs and flows of going on the road focus that it takes to go in and win on the road, situational football, making plays on the road, being locked in a zone. So there's numerous teaching opportunities that we have taken, and we've played some challenging games on the road in terms of Oklahoma and Georgia, and now Ole Miss.
What do you think your team did best in the game at Georgia?
Kept fighting, the belief in winning the game, had numerous opportunities to let down. We didn't do that. We kept fighting. We kept believing. We kept scratching. We kept clawing. And we're one or two plays away from winning that football game. And they showed great resiliency, perseverance, and that's what you need to win in this conference, and that's exactly what you need to go on the road and win in this conference.
How much do you call on the veteran players now going into the second half of the season?
Well, I wish we had more veteran players. Our veteran players, a lot of them are freshmen, and they're learning as we go. But you do lean on the veteran players, the likes of A.J. Johnson, Kurt Magid. Justin Coleman now is playing with a lot of confidence. Brian Randolph, but Justin Worley. But there's two totally almost distinct entities from offense to defense, where we have more individuals with more live game opportunities, that have played more football here, where offensively we're basically all new. And so there is a difference in what started to manifest or occur Saturday, as a lot of the defensive kids were also leading the offense and vice versa. And again, that dialogue, that standard, the expectation, that's extremely healthy.
Which, when you look how balanced the league is, both divisions, and look how good the West is, do you think these people that select the playoff field would consider a two-loss SEC team if that transpires? Do you think they would?
Absolutely. If they're following the criteria and the selection process of the playoff, I do believe. Again, all you have to do is look at the body of work, look at the schedule that the teams in the SEC have to go through. So if they follow their criteria and the formula, absolutely that could happen, and it should happen if it occurs.
Would it bother you if it didn't?
Well, I would want to research the system. Again, you look at the great teams we have in this conference, and I continually say it, unless you compete in this conference, whether you're a coach or a player, nobody really knows the grind that goes into week in and week out from, the competition, the competitive component of it, but also going on the road. Everyone has very passionate fan bases. There's so much that goes into this conference each and every week that really separates itself.
Your team's obviously played the most true freshmen of all, but it seems around this conference everybody has true freshmen contributing one way or another. Does that surprise you to a certain extent, or is this kind of the way it's going to be from this point forward?
It doesn't surprise me, because you're recruiting the best of the best in the country. So you're going to have true freshmen play. It's just what roles do they have? There's a lot of true freshmen that are playing, but I guarantee you this, nobody has asked of their freshmen what we've asked of them. And sometimes, to be quite candid with you, it's unrealistic of what we've asked of these kids. But it's where we're at in the program, and I think they've handled it exceptionally well. I think our older players have done a great job of mentoring them, having our younger players keep everything in perspective. trying to lead them. So I think they've done an exceptional job. But we've started 6 true freshmen on offense, and I believe the last opportunity we checked in the SEC of the other 13 teams, there's 7 combined that start, and we've started 6. So, again, it's also the roles, and it gets back to what John and I spoke about earlier about, the 5-year eligibility plan is what type of role do you put a true freshman in. The roles that are freshmen in, they got to impact the game on every single snap.
Which would have, the value of depth in the defensive line, you see where Ole Miss rotates a number of guys. Mississippi State, number 1 in the country now, they've got depth on the defensive front. I know you want depth everywhere, but it seems like that's
Critical, John. If you're to pick one spot, if you could pick one spot on a football team where you want great depth, it's going to be in the defensive front. This is a line of scrimmage league, but we've always prided ourselves in our programs of going at least 10 deep, where you go 10 deep in the defensive front. And when we were outstanding, we've even played upwards to 12. We were really fortunate at Cincinnati. We had Derek Wolfe, who was basically a first-round draft choice of the Denver Broncos, and John Hughes was a third-round draft choice of the Cleveland Browns. And then we had Walter Stewart, who's now a graduate assistant coach for us here at Tennessee. We had Dan Giordano, who was a year with the Arizona Cardinals. So we had great depth and great competitiveness across the lines, and you need that to win consistently.
After just seeing what you guys saw at the end of the game on Saturday, do you feel like you can expand your rotations there and elsewhere? I mean, did you see enough from the young guys to think that, if you can take a little bit more off?
Yes, some are probably a little more game ready than others, but as we continue to move through, the season's only halfway through, and now we're really starting the grind of the SEC schedule. We're going to need these individuals to step up. Dwayne Hendricks, LaTroy Lewis, Jalen Miller, all these individuals, we're going to need to count on them in moving forward to get us, great reps. And it may only be 10 reps a game, but those have to be 10 great quality repetitions. And they have to be 10 game-winning repetitions where we're locked in, no mental errors, great effort. And again, if that's 10 plays that Derek Barnett can be off the field, that's going to help his maturation also throughout the course of a long season as well. You look at Kurt Magid, we spoke about it last week, as he spoke about this is the best he's felt going through a season right now. He's probably playing 35 snaps a game, 30 snaps a game. So his body, is not getting worn down. So he's able to also to take the next developmental phase during the week in terms of getting in the weight room and getting stronger. And we pride ourselves in being stronger football teams, or having a stronger football team as the season continues to progress.
But you had only 52 rushing yards in 3 quarters against Chattanooga. How much was that not having your top 2 running backs versus the offensive line not blocking very well?
I think that played a part in it. We were also down and injured at tight end as well. But I do think anytime you take Jalen Hurd out of your offense, it's going to hurt because he is a talented football player. Again, it's a combination. We have one big play, and, the receiver doesn't make his block on the perimeter. Again, it's all 11 individuals. But also we had some run adjustments in there where, a lot of our completions were off the run game. So we actually blocked the run and threw the ball down the field. And so a lot of the completions you saw Saturday night were indirectly a byproduct of the run game. And we really treat those as runs because they're 4 or 5 yard passes.
What kind of improvements are you seeing out of the true freshmen and some of the other offensive linemen from the start of the season till now? Statistically, they still are giving up a lot of hits, a lot of pressures, a lot of sacks. What are you seeing in practice and in games?
A methodical improvement, which that's what you expect, but they are better football players than when we started in August, much better. Again, the level of competition has also increased. So, that's all relative, but I see them continually getting better in terms of missed assignments, in terms of technique, in terms of stamina. So again, I see improvement each and every week. I see improvement in their play each and every day. Again, it's like your own kids. I continually say it. They develop at different paces. That's what makes human nature different. That's what makes human beings different. So they all develop at their own pace, their own rate, and some are ahead of others. But I do see that constant growth and maturation.
Butch Jones has kind of been criticized for being inconsistent over the last couple of years, but he seems to really put together his best football recently.
Yeah.
What do you think that is?
I don't see any inconsistency right now in his play, and all I have to go on is the video from this year. He's playing winning football. He's managing their offense. I think he brings a level of toughness to their offense. He can make all the throws. They do a good job schematically in terms of what they ask of Bo. A lot of it is, throws off the run game, nakeds, zone reads, design quarterback runs, and he understands how to get the ball in the hands of his playmakers. So he's managing their offense, and he's playing winning football for them. And he presents a defense so many challenges because of his grittiness, his toughness, his ability to run the football, but also his ability to throw the ball as well.
So the thought process on Jalen Hurd just playing 2 or 3 snaps Saturday opposed to not dressing him out at all, kind of giving him a day off?
Well, he didn't have a day off. He got injured. And so, could he have gone back in the game? Possibly, but why risk further injury? It's a long season. We're going to need him down the stretch. It was an opportunity to get, some other individuals, some valuable repetitions. But again, everything was kind of looking down the road as well, and what's in the total benefit for the individual player and what's in the benefit for the team as well.
He was injured again Saturday against Chattanooga.
Yes.
Butch, after hearing about 5 more sacks on Saturday, are you still sticking with the same 5 on the offensive line, or do you revisit that?
We always compete each and every week, but the best 5 are going to play. And they've been the best 5 through their consistency in practice. And, the best 5, I think you saw that manifest itself defensively when Emmanuel Mosley started, when Jonathan Johnson started. So every day we compete in our program, and if somebody steps up and is playing at a higher consistency, then they'll play. But right now, those 5 will be the 5.
Which do you think that some running backs are better running out of a zone read versus an I formation? And if so, did you adjust your offense a little bit?
Boy, we run the zone read out of the pistol. The pistol is the I formation. We run the zone read out of underneath center. And instead of reading it, it's controlled by a tight end. So, yeah, I do think some backs are more downhill runners than other, but I think, there's ways to go about it. There's the pistol, there's underneath center. There's so many different ways. And then, we run 2 zone reads. So we run an inside zone and an outside zone. So the way we fundamentally run our inside zone is really the equivalent of being in the home position in the I formation. The way we run our outside zone is really the equivalent of being in the I formation. But I do think you have to play to the strengths of your players, and that's why you see different backfield sets and alignments based on which backs are in the game.
Coach Jones, Ole Miss seems to be recruiting this state pretty hard here lately. Does that put added emphasis on this game?
No, not at all. We have a recruiting profile of the type of student athlete we want to attract here at the University of Tennessee. And, no one game is critical. We have a great product to sell, and that has absolutely no bearing. And we're going to recruit and sign the players that we think are the right fit for the University of Tennessee, just like they're going to recruit the players that they feel are the right fit for their program. But that has no bearing at all. He was pulled from practice from the NCAA, so he's going through some academic requirements that must be met via the NCAA, and that's all I'm allowed to comment on.
Is it odd that it happened kind of this late, not earlier?
It happens at different stages of the game. It's an oddity in terms of what they're using in the time frame, yes. And it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. But it can happen at any stage of the game, and as long as I've been a head coach, these things happen. It's pretty common procedure at times, but you never know when the time frame is.
Anything else, guys? All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.